All right, hi everyone. How are you? I hope everybody is feeling good wherever you are. Yeah. So this video we are going to talk about the topic of transportation as the topic for English 1 for Diploma 3 KU31101. With me, Miss Mona Lisa Pasaribu. And as you can see, this topic is for week 11. And at this topic for this week, which is about transportation, we are going to look at also some of the future invention, and we are going to integrate the grammar using models of will. Okay, so let's check the outline of the video first. Alright, so as you can see over here, the outline of this video is we're going to have a quick review from last week's material, and then we will look at the objectives for this week's video, and then we'll talk about the topic for future transportation as week 11 topic, and then the grammar to predict future things using will, may, and might, and then we also will do some practice. Alright, so last week we were talking about inventor and invention. So as a quick review for this week's material, what I want you to do is I want you to look at again the compound sentence that we have discussed in, if I'm not mistaken, the topic was about the advertisement. And then after that, I want you to use the compound sentence to explain your past activity. So for example, you combine two activities into one using a compound sentence of so and but or. Yeah, and then after that, don't forget, if you are using if you are talking about past activity, then you need to use the correct tense for it. Okay, so for this exercise, what I want you to do, I want you to post the answer in the YouTube comment. Okay, so pause this video and post your answer in the YouTube comment. Alright, so now we will continue to looking at the materials for this week, which is about transportation. And we will look at the objective for this week's material. So the first one is for students to be able to identify some future inventions of transportation. And then after that, for students to be able to integrate future tense in explaining some future inventions of transportation. Alright, so here is a thought about future transportation. What kind of future transportations do you have in mind? Maybe you can start making, you can make a prediction, or maybe you have one in your mind. Okay, so for this future in transportation, I also want you to post the answer in the YouTube comment. Okay, so there are two things that you post in the YouTube comment. The first one is the review question, and the other one is the future transportation. Alright, so for this one, before we come to the meeting today, I also want you to look at this video. The easier way to see it is when you go to the slide and check the link in the slide. Okay? Alright, so here are important vocabularies for this material. So we have invention, congestion, pollution, smart airplane, MRT, flexible seat, and sophisticated technology. And for all of these words, what I want you to do, I want you to identify the meaning of each word. So not the translation, but the meaning of it. So what is actually a congestion, what is a pollution, and etc. Alright, with this reading, so what I want you to do with this reading, I want you to have a go on reading this, and if you can record yourself reading this, that would be great. And again, if you have words you don't understand with this reading, please consult with the dictionary, or you can always ask me through personal line or in the WhatsApp group. All right, so with the reading about smart airplane, here is a question, some questions, okay? The first one is, do you think that this idea will likely to happen in the future? And then also the smart airplane, do you think this will happen in the future? And from scale 1 to 10, 1 is uncertain and 10 is certain. What number do you pick? Are you very certain about it or very much uncertain about it? And why do you think so? Okay, so for example, if you choose 5, then you are in the middle, either certain and not, either certain and or not certain. Or maybe you choose 10 because you're certain that this will happen in the future. Okay? Yes, and there's a questions over here. What are the features of the smart airplane? I want you to list down some of the features of the smart airplane after you do the reading. Yeah, so please list down the features of the smart airplane. Alright, so now we talk about how to make predictions. So when we are talking about future developments, particularly about transportation, because this is the topic for this week, we use will for things that you think are certain. So this is actually related to the topic, to the level of certainty. So if you are certain about something, then you will use will for it. Okay? And this is how you're using it. So if you're using in a positive form, positive pattern, you use subject plus will plus verb, plus not. And if it is negative, you will use subject plus will or will not plus verb plus the object. So for example, a sensor will stop driver from falling asleep, or hydrogen fuel cells will get cheaper as the technology improves. And for the negative form, using will not or won't, you can say, our sensors won't stop driver falling asleep. Okay, so something like this. So this is the example of the use of a future tense to explain certainty. Now the second one, in making predictions about future development, especially for technology on transportation, we use may or might for things which are possible. So I know there are no certainty, clear, like 100% certainty for the future, but some things you think are very certain. Like for example, the sun will always rise in the morning. So it never rise in the afternoon or evening. But then, we never thought, we can always think of there's a slight chance that it may not rise, for example. Okay, so if you are thinking about something that are possible to happen in the future, so not very certain about it, you can use may or might. So the pattern is this one. Okay, so you can use subject plus may or might plus verb plus the object. So for example, hydrogen cells may be the long-term answer, or a hybrid cars might be the best choice since it doesn't produce much pollution. And note there's a note over here in written English, there is some difference in the use of may and might. So in negative form, you can say may not. Probably might is not very common. You can say may not or might not. Okay, so the example is hydrogen cells may not be the long-term answer, or hybrid car may not be the best choice, etc. Okay, so this is the example of a prediction, or a prediction using may or might. Okay. All right, so have a look over here. I have 5 examples, 5 questions over here. And now I already gave you some clues over here. So for example, using I'm certain, possible, unlikely, and I'm certain. So when someone is certain about it, then you can use the models to express the certainty. Same thing like if it is possible, you use the models that is describing the possibility. And same thing like if it is unlikely, what is the model used to express the uncertainty? Okay, please answer these questions, and we are going to discuss this in our practicum session. And here is the other example. So for this exercise, I want you to go back again to the vocabulary list that we had previously, and some of the information over there, the words over there, can be used for this practice too. Okay, so the options for this practice too is from the vocabulary list we had previously. And then for the last practice, as you can see over here, what I want you to do is I want you to write down one future transportation. So think of a name of the future transportation. So be creative about it. There's no limit to the name. Like for example, you can say anti angin ribut's car, something like that. So put the name, be as creative as you can to mention the name, and then after that list all the features that you think is that possible to be put in that transportation, and then also use the modal verbs for the prediction. So you can use the certainty models, or the possibility models, or the unlikely models. Okay, and then after that you also need to make sure that the future transportation can go either on land, in water, or in the air, in the air. Okay, so or maybe hybrid, like it goes to 3 of them or maybe 2 of them. Okay, so this is an individual practice. So I want you to come up with one, talk about future transportation, and then after that name the future transportation, list the features, and also use the modal verbs for the prediction. If you have confusion about this exercise or this practice, you can go back again to the text about smart airplane. That is actually a good example on how you can make a piece of writing talking about future transportation. Okay? Yeah, and that would actually bring us to the end of this video. Next week we will be talking about gadgets. Okay, as you can see over here, there are plenty of examples of gadgets, and we are going to integrate the grammar that we have learned from last week and this week to next week's material. So we are talking about past tense, and then we talk about the present tense and future tense. And using the topic of gadgets, we are going to look at the development of gadgets from the past to the present and to the future. So we are going to integrate three tenses into one topic. Okay, so that's what we will do next week. Alright, so once you've done with all the materials in week 11, I want you to assess your progress in this unit. So there are 3 options over here. I can understand the important terms in transportation, making predictions, and also present an idea of future transportation. Yeah, so I hope by the end of this material and this week, you should be able to progress as expected. And a quick reminder, everyone, I know most of you have posted in a weekly forum in eCourse. So what I want you to do is, for those who haven't done the discussion forum posting in eCourse, please do so. I would open the discussion forum until Thursday every week. So there are questions over there that you need to answer. And usually if there's no question, I will give you the question in the practicum session, so you can post your answer there. Yeah, so post your answer, so keep posting in discussion forum, because there's also it's also a good way of practicing your English in writing format, and also it's a good and you are also rewarded with score. Yeah, their score for that one. Okay, so that's just a quick reminder, and thank you for those who have posted frequently or regularly in eCourse. And that will bring me to the end of my video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. Here are the references for this week's material. And if you have questions about this the material for this week, you can ask me. Don't hesitate to ask me. I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope to see you all in the practicum session. Goodbye.